Hey guys, it's James Walsh here from the Wrestling Epicenter. I'd like to thank you for finding us here on YouTube. If you get the opportunity, please click that subscribe button as well as the notifications bell. This way, anytime that we upload any new content or new to you content from our archives dating back to 2002, you'll be notified. You can check out what we're up to. Please also check out www.wrestlingepicenter.com for all your wrestling news and information needs, as well as check out our store to keep us running free and clear. Without any further delay, let's get to why you're here. Thanks for checking out Wrestling Epicenter on YouTube.
Hey, AJ, how are you today?
Good.
Elevation X, obviously the first time the match has ever been done by TNA. What was your first reaction when it was proposed to you, and what was your first reaction when you actually saw the structure?
I was very excited about, scaffold matches any kind, and, because there's not many of them. And, I mean, the last time I really heard of a good one that was actually a scaffold match where you had to fall into the ring was back when the Road Warriors were doing it. So then I actually seen the structure, and I was frightened because it is high. It is so high. It's unbelievably up there. And it's scary. There's about 20 inches of width to the X, the elevation X there, and it's scary.
What type of mental preparation are you going to have going into these matches? Just, by the grace of God and say a prayer and hope that everything goes well?
That's about all you can do. I mean, really, this, scaffold match, especially the one that we're having, is going to be a stable one where it doesn't move and stuff while you are up there walking around, because it does. But, that's just the way it works, I guess. But it's scary, man.
Now, your persona on television, obviously, it's taken a new turn. You're playing heel now. What heels that you watch in your career or even growing up are you taking some inspiration from to try and do what some of the things that they did on television or some of the attitude that they showed and kind of take it and make it into your own mold? Is there anybody that inspires you, when you're watching tape show, and that's something that's great, I'd like to do that and kind of mold that into my own take on it?
No, I got to tell you, there's nobody that I actually looked up to, and as being a heel, it was just as sad as it may be, it kind of comes natural. Because of course I didn't watch a lot of wrestling as I was growing up, so I'm just kind of doing my own thing.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The next question comes from James Lowe. Your line is now open, sir.
Lucky number 13 in the PWI 500, the phenomenal AJ Styles. How you doing today, sir?
Better than I deserve.
Had a couple questions for you. One was if recently there's been within the MTV, Spike TV family, Viacom empire that it is, which TNA is part of, Wrestling Society X was recently canceled, or there's been rumors of it being canceled on MTV. If the floodgates were to open and TNA were to sign a bunch of the talent, which guy or guys would you like to work with out of that company?
Definitely Matt Seidel, Cole Cabana, who's Matt Classic. A lot of those guys are definitely capable of being right there in the X Division group. And I kind of say I haven't seen a lot of it. Barely any at all, so I'm not exactly sure what that roster consists of, but there's definitely some good talent on there, especially X Division wise.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the X Division, you and Joe and a few others have been working in AAA on some of their shows. I know that TNA has a talent agreement with AAA, but there's a really, really hot young star out of CMLL by the name of Mystico. Would you ever, if he ever came to the United States and went to TNA, what would the matches consist of? Would you like to work with him? Is he too small for a guy your size? Or?
Well, I haven't really ever got to see Mystico wrestle. Maybe I'll YouTube him and see what was up, but I heard he's very, very talented. It's like Rey Mysterio on crack or something,
Yeah.
So I've heard he's really awesome, and hey, if that puts butts in the seat and they want me to wrestle him, definitely. And I'll make sure that, he shines like a superstar that he is. So,
yeah.
I mean, definitely, man, anything that can make TNA grow.
Yeah. Well, I got one more question, and to that I'll throw it to my broadcast colleague, cousin Chris. Chris, why don't you jump in here?
All right.
Go ahead.
Oh, wow. Sorry about this. I really haven't done this too much, so sorry, AJ.
That's all right.
I got two questions. It's like a two-parter, I guess. What would be a dream match for you? If you can wrestle anybody in the professional wrestling, what would be a dream match for you?
Well, unfortunately, that dream match of mine will never be able to happen. With Eddie Guerrero being gone, that was one of the matches I thought that we had a very, very similar style, and I would have loved to have the opportunity to wrestle with him. So, unfortunately, it'll never happen. That was my first choice. Easy, and you never know who might be coming from a different group who, that I can have some great matches with, over there if they want to wrestle. That is, they don't get the opportunity to do a lot of that over there. Of course, you know what I'm talking about. So
yeah. Okay. The next one is who do you think would be the breakout star of wrestling this year? Do you have any young talent you think would
breakout star? If you've seen the Jay Lethal Macho Man,
yes,
I've got to tell you, it's entertaining, and it's weird to see him act like Macho Man because he's right on. So he just may be the breakout star this year.
Okay. And I watch Ring of Honor a lot, and recently I bought a DVD of you against Davey Richards. What do you think about him?
I know. I remember that match. I was feeling terrible that match, but it wasn't probably the best of matches. Probably most of my fault. But I was a little under the weather. But there's some things that it takes time when you got to grow as a wrestler, and experience is definitely part of it. But I think he's very talented. And it's just a matter of time before he's somewhere big.
And one really, really quick question. Does it really hurt to wrestle Samoa Joe? It looks like it's really painful.
But you're talking to a guy who had his lip split in half by Joe. So sometimes it can be painful, but that's part of it. It ain't ballet.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much, AJ.
Yeah, definitely, right. AJ.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Next question comes from Ryan Stoll. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, AJ, how you doing today?
Good.
Do we owe you congratulations? Is that second addition to the family arrived recently?
Yes, he actually was born on Valentine's Day. So, yeah, I'll tell you this. I forgot how hard it was to have an infant like that around. Jeez, hard work. But, yeah, thank you.
Very nice. Congratulations. You mentioned that the Elevation X structure is only about 20 inches wide. That's not a lot of room to work with. How does that change what sort of match you and Rhino are capable of doing?
Well, I doubt there's going to be a lot of moves done up there. It's just you're very limited up there, and we're going to do what we can to make this the most exciting and scariest match for not just for us but for the fans as well, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know when an accident may happen. I guess that's the scariest part. So we're going to do what we can to be safe but also be entertaining.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting to watch how both of you climbed to the top of it and then, I guess more importantly, climb back down. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of give.
No, and I don't know if you heard what I was saying earlier, but it's very unstable, if that makes any sense. You can get up there and you can start shaking it and somebody can fall, by little things like that. So it gets scary. It really does.
How does this compare? Because you have, a couple of the signature moments from Ultimate X matches, from Lockdown matches. How does this compare in terms of I guess just fear and potential, if that makes sense?
Well, there's definitely potential to do some crazy stuff, but there's a lot of potential to get seriously injured. So it's hard to say. I think that the Elevation X is the highest, as far as in the air I've ever been, and I think that's what's so frightening about it, because it's definitely that high.
When going back to the Ultimate X, when you had the move where you kind of did the flip and landed down on your shoulders and neck, when you're in the process of landing, when you're in the air, zero gravity, or falling down, What goes through your head? Are you still able to consciously control your body similar to going off a diving board or trampoline where you're able to think, or is it so fast it's a blink? And what do you think your mindset will be if you're doing anything off of the elevation structure?
Well, I can tell you on the Ultimate X, I was thinking I'm not going to make it. That was my first thought. I'm not going to make it. I thought I was going to land on pretty much on like a kind of a German kind of bump where it was more of the back of my head and neck. And so when I actually hit the mat, I was like, oh, right, I'm okay. You know, shocking as it was for me to not be hurt. It was really scary. So I promised myself I'd never do that again. But because it's just one of those things you just do. You don't practice. You don't think about it. I hope, it comes off well. And there's definitely potential to, do something just like that off the Elevation X. But the unfortunate thing is it's much higher than the Ultimate X.
So I guess final question for you then, at what point, as excited as we are, I think a lot of people are just because of that potential, a little nervous about this match Sunday to even watch. At what point are you guys starting to cross over the edge again? It's one thing to push it, but at what point are things getting too far and you need to pull it back in for your own protection?
Well, this is definitely as far as it needs to get for a while with the Elevation X. Everything else is reasonably pretty safe, but this one is on the edge, just like you guys are saying. It's close to being something that's not supposed to be in wrestling.
Well, AJ, we'll be watching this Sunday, and I wish both you and Rhino the best of luck.
I do appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Mr. Ferguson, your line is open.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Styles. It's an honor to speak with you.
Cool.
All right. Well, you have a video game coming out next year, TNA Mayhem, I believe. I'm not sure. Impact. I do apologize for that. My research is not.
All right. That's what Mayhem was a terrible game.
I guess the first question is, what can we expect?
A great game to play. Just absolutely a fun game that everybody can pick up and play. And that's the most important thing. It's going to be something easy for someone who doesn't know anything about wrestling to actually play the game. That's what we were looking for. And it's going to be fun. And it's going to be great graphics. And have all your guys, that you want to, you want to do PD's Canadian Destroyer. You're going to be able to do this kind of stuff. And that's what's fun. It's a lot of work to get to where, we want to be, but it's definitely going to be a great one.
Is the gameplay anything like, let me just qualify this. You did an interview for our website last year, and you said that your favorite video game, I believe, was Virtual Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
Is the gameplay anything like that?
Yeah, very similar. It's going to be very similar. The buttons makes it a little bit different, but it's going to be very, very similar.
Okay. Now, as someone who's been with TNA from day one, what in your opinion is the biggest positive change from the early days in Nashville to the current product?
Well, one of our biggest changes is definitely the six-sided ring. That's something that separates us from anyone else. It's something different. It's definitely very unique, and that's the biggest thing. But the fact that now people want to come wrestle for TNA when at the beginning they didn't believe it would even last, and now people are dying to come here and just want to be able to wrestle. And these are top-notch guys who want to come over and just wrestle and have a good time, and that's what we're all about.
I guess
that's definitely the two biggest changes.
Right. I guess the final question I have for you is that the internet can be really, well, on our website we call them Trekkie-like. Very, they like what they like, and they don't like any changes. You recently changed your attire from biker shorts to the long pants, and most of the internet fans have been pretty negative about that. Not about your performance, but that you've had to change your look. Do you have any reaction to that?
Well, if they don't like it, then I'm doing my job.
Absolutely. Well, good luck this Sunday, and good luck with the family.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
We have a question coming from Jim Barcelona. Go ahead.
What are your thoughts on the current X division of TNA?
Oh, I think we've got some of the best talent in the world in the X division. It's definitely changing. It's not the same guys that you're used to. You don't have your Samoa Joe and Chris Daniels and AJ Styles in there, but I don't think that the exhibition needs it right now because there are a lot of guys who couldn't go. And that's what the exhibition is all about. So I'm very happy and with where it is right now and the fact that they're, being their own characters, they're getting their character out there and that it's growing as far as that goes.
Is it difficult or different now because the landscape with TNA, you see a few more established stars, you only have an hour TV. So is it more, do you think it's more of a challenge to try to get the exhibition guys over because of this, where in the past it seemed like there was more of an opportunity because you didn't have as many veteran established stars? Or am I missing the mark there?
No, I think yeah, but it's hard to get anybody on TV within an hour. It's hard for everybody. Veterans help make people who may not know what TNA is to keep, to watch. And then, the exhibition, then, it's all about, getting as many viewers. And if that's what veterans do, then that's what we need to get out there and do, make sure people are watching. But at the same time, when we do get another hour, if and when that happens, it will, then the exhibition stars who really get to shine too, because they're great wrestlers. And when you see wrestling like that, not to say that our veterans aren't, but some of these guys can just do stuff that I've never seen before, and that catches people's eyes.
And what are you feeling working with Vince Russo this time around and what he's been able to bring, offer to TNA?
Well, Vince definitely came in with a different kind of attitude, which I appreciate. Then again, me and Vince got along great the first time. So, but he's got a lot to offer. He's a very smart guy. He knows what he's doing, and I'm glad he's there.
How do you feel on, you mentioned TNA hopefully someday getting 2 hours. How much in the know are you guys as the talent, as the wrestlers, what's going on behind the scenes, things like that with TNA?
Well, sometimes we don't find out until the internet says something, which is, weird. But sometimes they'll sit us down and say, hey, when they know something's going to happen, they'll sit us down and say, hey, this is what's going on. This is the good news, blah, blah, blah. So we don't know as much as we'd like. Sometimes we don't know what we're doing to a pay-per-view, but, it's because of the internet that we have to be like, that kind of way. You don't want it to leak out. And so I don't even know what I was trying to say. Maybe I answered your question, maybe not. I don't know.
Well, do you feel that there's a chance that we could see it go 2 hours at some point?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And is that the indication, too, you're getting from, the higher-ups as well, that they have a good feeling and go to that?
The indication that I get is it's a matter of time.
And then the other question I wanted to touch on, too, was recently, and again, if I'm wrong, let me explain it to me, there were some changes in structure TNA with wrestlers having to pay certain expenses and things like that. If that is true, do you think that was blown out of proportion in the reaction, or do you think it was a normal reaction, just, some talent being ticked off by that?
Well, it's a normal reaction. I think for the most part, all of us knew this was going to happen. So it wasn't a surprise. A lot of us, as far as you have to get your own car, it was just the same thing that WWE does. And even when I was with WCW, you had to get your own car. And I know we done that anyway, so that wasn't a big deal. And it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. The fact that we could be traveling all the time and spending a lot of money on rental cars and whatnot. But it is what it is, and I think a lot of us expected it, but didn't want it to happen. So of course we're going to get a little angry about it.
And my last comment was just as an FYI to the line. I know it's a TNA conference call, so I don't want to take too much more time. But Wrestling Society X has not been canceled. Did learn today that it will be airing next Tuesday. They're going to run out the session, and MTV's going to see what they're going to do. This might change the time, so this is FYI to everybody on the line. I know someone mentioned it was canceled, and it is not. So thank you, AJ.
All right.
We have a question coming from Larry Tonka. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, AJ. Thanks for joining us today, man. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
First question is, last year at the Lockdown pay-per-view, you took the big spot at the end of the match and splashed through the table on the top of the cage. What was your reaction to going into that spot? What did everybody say after the match on that?
Well, I think the biggest concern was that we thought we might go all the way through the top of the cage. You know, they were more or less, I think probably one of the scariest parts for a lot of people watching was when I was climbing up the ladder, it would kind of tip back and forth a little bit, and they were worried about it falling off and me falling off with it off the top of the cage. But, you know, not a lot of people knew about it, so we kind of kept it to ourselves, and then when we did it, it was a relief that we didn't go through the top of the cage. It was something different, that's for sure.
Very much so. Question more personal. Do you find it kind of hard maybe to uphold your Christian values like in the wrestling business right now?
I don't think so. A lot of people know who I am and what I'm about. They know I'm not a perfect guy, but I try to be, and they respect that. So it never has been a problem.
All right. How does it feel when people claim or go up to you and say that you're the innovator? How does that make you feel?
Well, it's hard to believe that's, you know, that if they say that, but because I'm, you know, low key and are stingy, and Jerry Lynn had a lot to do with that. So I do appreciate the compliments, but I can't take full credit for that.
And last question, don't mean to put you on the spot, but who do you think's your better opponent, Mojo or Christian?
Oh man, that is hard. And I can't decide between the two. So I'm not going to. Those are two of my best opponents who I'd wrestle every day of the week if I could.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
All right.
The next question comes from Jason Clittis. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, that was quick. Hey, AJ, it's Jason Clittis from Time Wrestling. How you doing, bro?
I'm good.
Long time no talk. The last time I spoke to you was almost 2 years ago, shortly after the PWG shows, and you were just waiting for your first son to be born. Making a big deal about trying to get your wife to give birth because you're getting really frustrated. How has the last 2 years been with balancing the wrestling business with being a dad?
It got to where at the beginning it was really hard because I was gone so much and I just want to be home. But you know, the older he got, the easier it was to leave him a little bit because I know everything's going to be all right. But now that the second one's here, it's even harder, not only just for me, but for my wife especially, because now she's got 2 babies she has to watch. So it's hard, and it's to think that back in the day, so many guys had to travel so many days and drive. It's mind-boggling that they were able to keep doing it, the wrestling, as long as they did.
Your poor wife.
Yeah, no kidding.
So AJ's you named your first one AJ, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's almost 2, and the other one's a month old. That's
almost. Yeah, he's actually 3 months or 3 weeks.
3 weeks. What did you name him?
Avery.
Avery? Going with the A themes, huh?
Yeah, I'm going with A. I'll make all of them AJs.
You'll make all of them AJs. My other question is Jerry Lynn's back in the ring, and the times that we've talked, you put basically him and Chris Daniels over as huge influences and the guys who helped establish your name in professional wrestling. And I think your matches in the early weekly pay-per-views with Jerry definitely helped put TNA on the map and make AJ Styles a star. What are your thoughts on Jerry coming back in his current angle with Chris Sabin?
Honestly, I think I'm glad he's back. I think it took too long to get him back because he's in phenomenal shape and just goes to show that he hasn't even lost a step. So I'm glad he's back. He's a great talent and he's a great wrestler to watch.
A couple of years ago, due to a number of circumstances, you and Chris Daniels and a couple of the guys had to leave Ring of Honor. You went back for a while, and now you're sort of a special attraction. You haven't really been on cards in a while. Do you still get a lot of people asking for you to come back to ROH, and what are some of your fondest memories from your last run there?
You know, sometimes I get that whole Ring of Honor thing and stuff like that, but, you know, I always had a good time there. But, you know, it's just the way it goes. It's the nature of the beast as far as special attractions go, and it's all about supporting your family. So, and Ring of Honor is a great place for younger guys to get in there and make a name for themselves, which is exactly what I did. But I've had great matches there, and Ring of Honor done a lot for me back then when I was with them, you know, every single week, and I'm proud to say that. But you know, I've had so many great matches there. It's hard to even think of exactly which ones that, you know, I should say, because there were so many great matches there. with the Amazing Red, the first time I wrestled Joe, and Christopher Daniels and Jerry Lynn, all those guys. So many great matches.
And my last question is the marketing behind you has really picked up steam. I mean, I know the Best of AJ DVDs, both for TNA and the Ring of Honor site, are top sellers. You're going to be in the video game, and you have action figures. I mean, the first time you started yourself with an action figure, picked your little mini AJ up and played with them. What goes through your head? Was that something that you ever even envisioned happening when you broke into business?
I set goals for myself. And one of them was definitely to have your own action figure. The other one's to be in a video game. And it goes on and on. Every time I meet one goal, I have to make new ones. But that was definitely really cool to see that your action figure in Toys R Us or Walmart or something like that. It's really neat to see. And I can't wait to, go into an EB Games or GameStop, something like that, and see the TNA video game. That's going to be another, like, oh my gosh, finally, after so many years. So it always, shocks me, I guess, every time I see it, especially when I see someone buying it. It's really cool.
AJ, you've always been one of my favorite guys to talk to, and this is no different. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
We have a question coming from Michael Johnson. Go ahead, sir.
Hello again, AJ. How are you?
I'm good.
You just mentioned that every time you achieve your goals, you have a new goal in mind. So with that said, what are your current goals? Like, what are your goals, like, where you want to be, like, as a performer and possibly, like, a year from now, 5 years from now, things of that nature?
Well, I definitely want to help make TNA the number one wrestling business, out there. I want them to be top. That's one of mine. Alpha House, that's another one of mine. But and there's several other little ones. I still want to be a great father too now that I've got kids. So not all these goals are directly associated with wrestling. But yeah, every time, like I said, every time there's I meet one, I make a new one. So.
Right. As we're hitting about 5 years for TNA this June, how's the physical toll on your body? Because you've always done very high flying physical style inside and outside of the ring. As you're getting older, obviously your body's going to wear down and the style takes its toll on you. Now you've got a couple of kids, you're older. How are you feeling physically, and, like, do you feel like you need to start changing up your style just to preserve your body?
Well, I think your style changes the more, how can I put this? More experience you have, the more your style changes. You learn how to, psychology has a lot to do with it, and the fact that you can make stuff count when you do it. You don't have to do it every match. But I'm definitely feeling a little bit older. I'm not going to lie to you. I will be 30 years old this year, which is fine with me. I don't mind getting older because that means I get a little bit wiser. But I still love wrestling, and I still feel like I can go with the youngest of them right now. So it's going well.
All right. And then my final question is, they've got the second volume of the Best of AJ Styles. It's going to come out next month. How involved are you in the development of the DVDs? Does TNA come to you, and obviously you're interviewed and you talk to them on camera, but do they sit down with you to try and figure out what are the best matches for the DVDs? Like, what is that process like for you as a performer?
Yeah, well, I actually had some ideas about how I'd like the second one to go. Second DVD to go, and I had a couple matches that I knew that I wanted on there, and they put them on there. So I guess whatever I wanted, they would do if they could. So I had a lot more than probably some people do. Have to do with their DVD and whatnot.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Styles, there are no other questions in queue.
All right.
Is that it? Operator?
Yes, sir. Well, we have one that just popped up from Mr. Chris Ferguson.
Okay, well, let's make that the last one then.
Go ahead, Mr. Ferguson.
Actually, I was just hoping for a quick plug for or a quick drop. That's
okay,
possible.
Do you want a liner for your
Yes,
show?
I do.
Okay, are you recording right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead and tell AJ what you need him to say.
All right, Mr. Styles, if you could say, this is AJ Styles, you can spin it however you like, and you're at the Wrestling Epicenter.
The Wrestling what?
Wrestling Epicenter.
I'll say that slow because I'm southern, so my tongue doesn't work.
Epicenter. Did you hear me? Can you hear me, AJ?
Epicenter?
Yeah, Epicenter. E-P-I Center. Epicenter.
Epicenter. Okay, Epicenter.
Sorry, guys, we have to speak Southern.
Okay, and now you're listening to the Epicenter?
The Wrestling Epicenter.
And we're listening to this, right?
Sure. However you want to do it. We're okay with it.
You know what I'm saying? Is this a radio show? Is this
It's our website. It's a website.
Hey, this is AJ Styles. You're listening to the Wrestling Epicenter.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
we have 2 shows on our website, so we just like to split them off. It's easier to get one drop and share them, you know.
Sure. I'm ready whenever you are. You ready?
Yep.
This is a phenomenal one, AJ Styles, and you're listening to the Wrestling Epicenter.
Thank you very much.
All right, no problem.
My name is James Walsh, and I'd like to thank you for checking out the Wrestling Epicenter here on YouTube. If you have not done so already, please do. Click that subscription button and the notifications bell. This way you'll be notified anytime I upload any new or new to you classic content from our archives that date back to 2002. If you get the opportunity, please also check out www.wrestlingepicenter.com for all your wrestling news and info needs, as well as our store to keep us going free and clear. Without any further delay, let's get to why you came here, the content here on YouTube.